Okay, this is part two of intro to my favorite oils. Thanks to our lovely technology, I need to go huff some serious stress away, I think. But I don't know if you did this while I was gone, but I think, Lisa, you're going to talk about peace and calming and Panaway.
Right.
I could use some peace and calming right about now, too. So I'll let you take it away.
Okay. Okay. So the first oil that I'm going to talk about is Peace and Calming, and it has five oils in it. It's a blend. It has five oils: tangerine, orange, ylang ylang, patchouli, and blue tansy. And basically, if you look at the properties in all of those oils, it is full of relaxant properties. So there's a lot of other properties commingled with all of that, but that's the big thing about those five oils is they have a lot of relaxant properties. And then ylang ylang, I did not know this until I looked in my desk reference tonight, actually helps regulate the heartbeat. So I learned something too. Um, the story that goes with my peace and calming is my granddaughter, who is now 6 years old, when she was about 3, she went and spent the night with me in a hotel room, and she was doing good. She was playing and having a good time. And when it was time to go to bed, we laid down and I told her, I said, you need to close your eyes and go to sleep. And so we laid there for a little bit and I kind of glanced over at her and her eyes were still open and she'd try to close them and she'd open them back up. And I'd say, Nora, honey, you need to go to sleep. And she'd say, but Grammy, I'm nervous. And I said, well, what's wrong? I said, you need to call mommy or daddy and tell them good night. No, but Grammy, do you have any oils that can help calm me down? And I said, well, honey, you know, Grammy's got oils for you. So she loves peace and calming. So I got the peace and calming out and I put just a little bit on her wrist and I told her to just smell them a little bit. And she did. And within about 5 minutes, she was out like a light. And so when she comes to my house, she literally asks me for oils. I mean, she was here this past weekend and she got a bug bite and she come and asked me for lavender. That was the first oil that I ever put on her when she was little bitty and we were out taking pictures and she had bug bites all over her and I put some on her and I called it my magic oil. And so that's what she still calls it. So the next oil that I'm going to talk about is Panaway. And this oil is a very powerful blend of oils also. It has wintergreen, helichrysum, clove, and peppermint in it. And the wintergreen, clove, and peppermint are all anti-inflammatory. The wintergreen is highly anti-inflammatory. And the wintergreen and helichrysum are antispasmodic, which means that it's very good for muscle spasms and that kind of thing. And then the helichrysum, also something else I learned, regenerates nerves. So that's just a very few of the properties of all of the oils that are in this blend. So the story that I want to tell that goes with the Panaway, there's a couple more oils involved besides just the Panaway, but we were teaching a class one night, Chelsea and I were, and it was for a friend who invited, she had 5 or 6 people there, and she had invited one of her friends who only came because she was her friend. She had no intention of getting any oils from Young Living or anything like that because she already had oils that she used on a regular basis. And so, but she came to her friend's party or whatever you want to call it. And so as we were teaching the class, she kept talking about the oils that she used and how wonderful they were. And so we just kind of let her talk. We didn't really say anything. And then she was talking about issues that she had with her back. And so she was sitting there and so Chelsea asked her, she said, well, does your back hurt right now? And she said, oh yeah, my back hurts all the time. And Chelsea said, well, can we try something? Can we put some of these oils on you? And she said, sure. And so we have 3 oils that we love to use together for muscles. And so we put the Panaway on first, and it's something that we layer. We put the Panaway on first, and she stood up and Chelsea put it on her back. She told her where it hurt. And then we put copaiba on top of that, which is a driver oil. And then we put peppermint on top of that, which drives, or which pretty much locks everything in. So we went back to teaching the class. She sat back down, she kept talking, and then in a little bit, she just looks up and she says, "Wow." And we all just kind of looked at her, and we kept going on with the class. And she sat there for a couple minutes, and a few minutes later, she's like, "Wow." and and so we looked at her and we said, "Are you okay?" And she said, "Yes." She said, "This stuff is amazing." And Chelsea looked at her and she said, "Is it a little bit different than the oils that you're currently using?" And she said, "Yes, absolutely." She says, "I can't believe this." And she was just in such shock. And like I said, she came to that class with no intention whatsoever of getting any oils, because she already had her oils, and she ended up enrolling that night with Young Living with her friends. So it was pretty amazing to see just the difference that she realized from something that she'd been using, that she was just so, encouraged by using that, and then to put that on her, and she was that excited. So pretty amazing oils, pretty powerful.
I love it. The proof is in the pudding, when you can help change someone's mind who was kind of against it, and yet they can't deny the results.
Right.
I love it. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Jeannie, tell us about our BFF, Frank. Yep, you're good.
Well, it's definitely my BFF. Can you see it? My light's not very good. This is my frankincense. I don't have a good story like what you guys have been telling, but I do have a particular reason for choosing frankincense tonight. First of all, I guess my story is that I use frankincense in a couple of blends that I use on my feet. I alternate between one blend and another blend. One has about 10 oils in it, and the other one has 3. One has lemongrass, peppermint, and frankincense, and the other blend has 10 different oils, including helichrysum, panaway, and frankincense, and peppermint, and a bunch of them. So I use those alternates on my feet every day to be able to walk, because my foot discomfort would be so severe I would not be able to walk if I didn't have my blends. And I love my frankincense is in both blends. My reason for choosing frankincense is twofold. One, if it was good enough for baby Jesus, it's good enough for me. And frankincense was one of the 3 gifts that the wise men took to baby Jesus: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And this was it was more expensive in those days than the gold was. I don't know about the myrrh, but it was more expensive than the gold was, for sure. Frankincense was called king's oil. So if it's good enough for baby Jesus, it's good enough for me. But another major reason that I love frankincense is it's in Old Spice cologne. And it reminds me of my daddy, because my daddy used Old Spice all the time. So when I smell my frankincense, I smell my daddy. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it.
I love it. Thank you, Jeannie. That made me smile. So we all have different reasons for Frank being our BFF, and I enjoyed hearing yours for sure. It really is a treat that frankincense is included in the starter kit, because it is a sacred, expensive oil. Yes. For sure.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to tell you real briefly about an oil that has saved our life, literally, and that's Thieves. This is a mama's best friend. So, I've mentioned to you at the beginning that we have seen huge results in our immune system health over the years as we've worked with Young Living, and Thieves is probably one of the biggest reasons why. That and what Lynette is getting ready to tell you after me. So this boosts your immune system. It helps to stay well, and we use it in the diffuser. We apply it to the bottoms of our feet and down our spine. We also put it underneath our tongue in tea, drop to the roof of our mouth, like all the ways. Take baths in it, literally any way that we can get Thieves on or in us. If we feel like we need an extra boost to our immune system, we're doing. So it has a little bit of clove, a little bit of cinnamon in it. It numbs an area that might be feeling kind of icky in your mouth. You got to have it. Everybody has to have Thieves. And in the starter kits, they've got a couple of other Thieves products. So we use the Thieves hand sanitizer, hand purifier. We use the spray. I like to spray this like on light switches. and doorknobs and the front of refrigerators. I just go and spray with the Thieves, and we are not as sick as we used to be. So again, the proof is in the pudding. We're cleaning with Thieves, we're using Thieves, and it's keeping us well. So pretty thrilled with Thieves. Okay, our last product, we're wrapping it up with, we saved probably the best product for last. I don't know, we could all debate this. But Lynette, tell us about Ningxia Red.
Well, that is absolutely one of my favorite Young Living products, and I won't go a day without it. It is a powerhouse of nutrition. I'm not going to tell you all about what's in it. You can look that up, how many fruits and vegetables you'd have to eat to have the equivalent of an ounce or two of Ningxia Red. It comes in these nifty little packets, which are 2-ounce packets, great for traveling. I was out of town last week, was using those all week long. Or they come in these beautiful bottles, and you can just see the richness and the thickness of that color. It's from the wolfberry, which is a very high antioxidant plant, the highest antioxidant plant that you can find. And if you know anything about antioxidants, they help to fight against all the negative, nasty stuff that we fight, whether it be from chemicals or bad things that we eat or whatever. And so we need those antioxidants to help us with aging, to help us with illness and all of those. And this is just a powerhouse of antioxidants that help. And I'm absolutely convinced this is something that has helped to keep my family and me well. I love the flavor of it. I love to drink it just by itself, but oh my goodness, the combinations that you can do are absolutely endless with any of our Vitality oil drops, some of which you've been mentioning. Shannon just talked about Thieves. Thieves is a great thing to put into there. I like to get it nice and cold, and then just pour a little bit in. And one of my favorites, really any of the citruses are great, but tangerine, just a drop or two in with a couple of ounces just makes that flavor pop. And that's one of my favorite ways to do it. I can't tell you the number of times when my husband was working a really stressful, physically stressful job, I would get a text at his lunchtime and say, thank goodness for Ningxia Red, because he was already so stressed and so tired and so fatigued. And it was giving him the boost that he needed to get through his afternoon. I'm a piano teacher. I teach morning, I teach afternoons. This is such a powerhouse of energy that it's not that high that, you know, then you're going to drop off in an hour or two. It's just that consistent extra energy that would keep me clear and focused and not fatigued getting through my afternoon. Another way I love to drink it, and this is really a discussion for another class, I guess, but to take my empty bottles that I save and put just an ounce or two, which, you know, a packet comes down to about here, of the Ningxia Red. And then this is sulfurzyme. It's great for joints and muscles and all of that. I take a teaspoon of this, it's just a powder, and I put it with water and put that in with the Ningxia Red, top it off with, whatever I feel like, 3, 4, 5 drops of lime. And I will then fill it up with water. And I drink this throughout the afternoon. And again, it gives me that boost, and it gets me drinking, making sure I'm drinking the water that I need to be drinking. I have used Ningxia in recipes. I know really anytime that calls for raisins, if it calls for cranberries, I can use a wolfberry instead. We've got the actual wolfberries. But I have used this in like a cranberry sauce where it called for, I can't even remember whether it was cranberry juice or orange juice or whatever, but I used this instead and just made it that much healthier to eat that cranberry sauce. We do have a couple other Ningxia products, one of which is the zinc, and this is a kind of a carbonated, just a little can, if you can see that there. And then this little tube is nitro, Ningxia Nitro. And this has a really different flavor, but it's just kind of a little bit chocolatey. I love it. It's great. Both of these are fine by themselves, but put them together, mix it with your Ningxia Red, and you've got an amazing drink. Let me give you a couple recipes here real quick. This one's called Baja Blaster. Take a couple ounces of your Ningxia and 3 drops of lime and 2 drops of orange. Makes a really good little drink. How about Dreamsicle? Your kids might like this one. Ningxia red, you can put orange, a couple drops of orange and 1 of lime, tangerine and lemon, and have another way of drinking your couple ounces. And they recommend 1 to 2 ounces a day. There's sometimes if I've been in a crowd or extra tired or feeling like I'm kind of coming down with something, I'll drink a little bit more than that to give myself that extra boost. And as we do this class, we're approaching 4th of July. How about one that's called the firecracker? If you want to spice things up just a little bit, you can take a nitro. You could leave that out if you didn't have it. Cinnamon bark, a drop of clove, a drop of peppermint, and an ounce of your Ningxia red. And that one's called a firecracker. So all kinds of combinations. They are endless what you can do with your Vitality drops and our 3 different Ningxia products that we have. I won't go a day without it.
Thank you, Lynette. That was super fun. And I loved those recipes. So I'm going to be trying that firecracker, living on the edge and trying it a little bit. I think Kimber asked, what about the citrus in Ningxia red? And is that okay if you have gastritis? And the answer is yes. However, just start with just a little bit and see how your stomach tolerates it. Most people are able to tolerate it just fine. What's interesting about the citrus oils that are in Ningxia red and that we use, it doesn't come from the pulp. It's made from the rind of the fruit. And so it has a different, it's more alkaline than acidic. In fact, one of the oils that people use a lot and find relief when they've got the burning in their chest because they've just eaten some spicy food is lemon. And you would think, well, lemon is acidic, it's going to add to the acid, but it actually is very calming and soothing. So just try a little bit and I think you will like it. Okay, yeah, if you can't have grapefruit, you still, most practitioners say they're comfortable with you having the grapefruit oil because again, it's coming from the rind of the fruit. It's cold pressed from the rind instead of from the pulp. Okay, well, I apologize again for the technological issues tonight, but I've been using these oils for almost 7 years, and yet I learned some new tips tonight about how to use them. So super fun. Appreciate all of you contributing. And I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of the week. Happy 4th of July. If you drink a firecracker, post it on social media and tag us all so we can see it. Awesome. Okay, bye everybody. Good night.